Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Press. We're reaching you live from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Like I said before, it is World Drug Day. So we brought you that report with regards to World Drug Day. Our guest on the show today is Adeniyi. He is the DG of CONYSSA. Great to have you on the show again.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
And I like the fact I'm seeing you like this.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, when I saw him, I said it's like he's going to run cat and dog today, because it felt really weird seeing him on black. But on the second thought, being the man that he is, today is World Drug Day, and I see that he's dressed and ready to go fight the drug abuse, the drug abuse and usage. So I think
okay, so I think that's actually a good place to start. Let's talk about drug abuse, drug misuse, drug peddling. How far so far are we in Nigeria? At some point we hear that Nigeria keeps topping the charts with regards to transportation of illicit drug. So help us to understand. Some people will tell you that drug abuse, drug misuse, they're two different things, but then some people will come out to say that they're one and the same. It's still all meshed in the same pot. So what are your thoughts with regards to drug abuse, drug misuse, and drug peddling? How far so far are we in clamping down on this menace, even with the new DG of NDLEA, who see how much they keep doing? Every day you have new stories of drug peddlers being clamped down on.
Well, firstly, I would want to say that it's just like you saying thief, fraud, and misappropriation. All of them are thief. So we are only trying to, Nigerians love using English to a kind of blend some certain thing to suit either their intentions or desires. You see, drug misuse have to now come in when one is not properly informed and educated on the danger of such an action, of using, instead of using 4 Panadol tablets, you are now using 8, which had a side effect.
Quick remedy.
Exactly, which has side effect. Now the question now is, how far has the NDLEA go to the local communities in terms of a holistic sensitization? It is not about just going to talk about it without placing somebody there who will continue where they stop after their visit.
Okay, before you go ahead, please, I would like to let our viewers know that our phone lines are now open. You can call in to make your contributions or ask your questions. Go ahead, please.
Now, again, what feedback do you get from these communities? Maybe after 2, 3, 4 calendar months. Now, when we're having challenge in really dealing with issue of drug abuse and misuse of drug, is now the area of managing information and a kind of an effective follow-up on community visited, getting feedback, know the lacunas and the lapses, then reach out again with another set of professionals who are expertise.
Are you only hitting on the government or also this civil society?
No. The first thing is we should start with NDLEA, who has that sole responsibility. Because in NDLEA we have the drug reduction demand department, who are in charge, like at the course of the program they are doing as at now, it is that department that is playing the vital role. Then we have the department that is in charge of the civil society organization, the NGOs, whereby they partner and do a lot of things. But the fact is this: to sincerely deal with issue of illicit drug and drug abuse, there is need to really a kind of look at those that has what it takes to do a serious follow-up on local communities. And until we get to know and understand that to be able to curb issue of drug abuse in this country, we need to start from the grassroots. We need to go back to the local communities where it is more rampant. What we are seeing in cities is not what is happening in the local community. In the local community, you see children of 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years that are proud taking these things.
Okay, let me just take it up from there. From all of your submissions, clearly you've been talking from the perspective of reducing the rate of drug abuse and the intake. But then let's look at it from the angle of preventing the circulation of the drugs.
Now, let me help you. Let me help you quickly. Who are those that circulate these drugs? They are big ones. They are cartels. And these cartels, to deal with them, sir, you take the grace of God and the calibre of the new president we are having, who actually want to correct some ills. Despite the fact some persons actually have some reservation about him. But the fact remains that to really deal with the circulation, a lot of heads will rule, and security agencies will step on toes.
And don't you think if there is a need for heads to rule, don't you think it is worth it? Because, for example, if I'm going to take, if I have a headache now, and I take Panadol for the headache to relieve me, and I discover that, okay, whenever I feel that way, next time, I go back to headache, I go back to Panadol. Whenever I feel like I go back to Panadol. Now, there's an abuse. Probably the second, the third time, why I'm feeling that headache was not the reason why I was feeling the headache. Maybe the first one was a malaria symptom. Maybe the second one was just mere stress that probably I just needed a little bit of rest, and I'll be okay. But then I've taken this drug. I have abused it. Now, I am abusing it because I have access to it.
No, I am abusing it because you are not properly informed.
No, because I am not. Because even if you are properly informed about it, even if you are properly informed, you can be informed about these illicit drugs. And when we talk about drug abuse, we tend to confine it to the word illicit drugs.
There are two different
things as little as the vitamin C, the one we give to babies, the one we put in our mouth and it tastes sweet. If it is not taken with the right prescription, an abuse has been committed. So now, instead of going the reactive way, why don't you think it's better to go proactive in order to reduce the demand for these drugs?
Now, firstly, like I said, to be able to get this right, number one is that the sellers of drugs that have to do with the chemist and hospitals who give out drugs need for sensitizing patients on going for tests before getting drugs goes a very long way. So that firstly would have a kind of conscientized the person that the first time I took it was as a result of the symptoms of malaria, not purely headache. It was a symptom, a feeling that I'm about to be sick. Now, the presumption is that anybody that have feeling of headache or cold, that it is a complete headache, and what the person go for is paracetamol. So which might not really be the solution to that particular problem. But if you are properly informed that there is need for you to go for checkup before going for drug, it goes a very long way to actually kind of reduce the demand from the citizens who go to chemists to buy.
Now, because you're mentioning chemists, so I had to butt in there because you keep mentioning chemists, and then they tell you that chemists, they are even one of the illegal peddlers of drugs. that the best place you should go to is a pharmacy, because the pharmacy wants to check, and then they want to be sure that you have the right to get that prescribed drug. So do you actually accept that the chemist and the woman who is carrying it on her head, they are the problems that need to be clamped down?
Considering the fact that about 95% of the chemists we're talking about here are not even licensed. Some of them just land from Oga, stayed with Oga for 2 years. When somebody comes and say, I'm feeling some rumblings in my stomach, Oga brings out
plenty drugs together.
You see it. So the sequence remains the same whenever somebody comes to the boy too. I'm feeling like this. As long as
they give the drug and then you feel well,
all is well.
No, but the truth is this: if I'm properly informed that I need not to go to a chemist but a pharmacist, you see, that is where the area of sensitization is important. You see, when you are talking about proactiveness, not prevention side, the proactiveness is the first thing to do by our agencies who are in charge, the NAFDAC, the NDLA, and other head bodies. What they need to do is that firstly sensitize the people across local government and across community bases. When this sensitization has been done, the difference between chemist and pharmacist, a lot of person does not know that in a pharmacist there is a professional nurse or doctor in a pharmacist, but in chemists there are no professional nurses and doctor in such a place. They are just normal person who go to learn for 6 months and 1 year. But the fact remains that at the course of this sensitization, a lot of persons would have known the differences, that this person can end up giving me something that can kill me, and the other person can end up giving me something that will give me the relief that I sincerely needed. So then we'll be able to really get it right as a country.
All right, let's quickly take this caller before we continue. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, good morning, and Francis.
Good morning to you too.
My name is Akin. I'm calling from Lagos.
Good to hear from you. I came from Lagos. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. I really have interest in this topic you are discussing this morning. Yeah, actually, the illicit and drug abuse. Anyway, let's be specific on your topic. That is the drug abuse. First and foremost, I don't think for it to be very easy for Nigerians to stop misusing drugs, we have to look at the angle of capacity to afford the drug first. Because people, it has to do with the economic status. I hope you are getting me. Because if we get down to those poor people who don't really have access to going for medical checkup, because it's easy for us to do medical checkup there. But when you get to the hospital, even the middle person in Nigeria knows what it means. So affordability to even attain that is another problem. And that is what even prompts me to even think, what all these things we're shouting about subsidies, can the federal government narrow its subsidies? This is the vital aspect of a nation, because a nation, a human resource that is not healthy is useless. So why can't the federal government direct its subsidies to the health sector and agriculture? These are the most important aspects. But we'll keep on just shouting every day. It's you, both of all of you, the three of you that are there, you must directly or indirectly, you will have experienced something in the hospital, whether directly or indirectly, and you know how these doctors are not. I'm not trying to castigate them. You know the kind of treatment, especially the nurse, they give to people. They scare people away. And how do you now think people will not take that decision themselves? So poverty, that is one thing.
All right.
So government should look at that. So issue of saying let's catch check or whatever, drug abuse is not going to be very easy to eradicate, except the government can look into it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think calling us from Lagos.
Now you can see that it borders at the end of the day to sensitization and government. You understand? Why we find ourselves in the mess we have in this country today is because a lot of persons are not informed on the right thing. Now, moving from that angle, from the question he asked, you see, these people that bring these drugs, that bring both the illicit drugs to the country, these people are living big and living large. But people that take these things, you see them in wretchedness. You see them misbehaving, but people that sell,
they don't even take it.
They don't take it.
Because
and you see them living in estates. But those that take it, you see them living in huts in a local place. They don't even have foam that they sleep on mats. So there is need. No matter how you bring drinks before me, I already know the danger of it. I've been informed the danger of it. There is nothing that will persuade me to take it. So then, most of the things our government does, to be sincere, they does it halfway. And this really endangers citizens. Whereby, where there is no completion of something they start. They start something halfway. At the end of the day, it became political. The fund that is meant for it is diverted. You are getting it half done, and it is more dangerous. It's just like a snake that you killed, you do not cut the head. Somebody might mistakenly mash it, and it will bite the person.
Oh, wow.
And that is where we find ourselves as a country. Then lastly, the NDLA should also, in fact, I must commend the commander of Lagos, Ondo, Enugu, Rivers, then Niger here. They are doing wonderfully well with our boys, and they are getting results. They are getting results. So NDLA should partner more with NGOs that has members and well oriented. So it is not just partnering with organization that has name that does not have members. Who can join them in terms of workforce and manpower? What we need in terms of really bringing an end to this, NDLA need more volunteers. More volunteers.
Before we leave this very issue of drug abuse and abuse of illicit drugs, there's no way we can talk about drugs and its abuse without talking about addiction. Quite a number of a lot of Nigerians, a lot of lives has been lost. A lot billions has been lost to addiction. You have a thing or two to say about addiction and moves to kind of get people who have already fallen into this trap back to normalcy again in 60 seconds. So
before you take that, just mention it together. I heard people say that people that gets this addiction are mostly people from the 1% that Francis always talks about. The 1% people that are up there, their children. So they're the ones that are always addicted. So do you agree?
Yeah, I agree to that 100%, because at the level of tertiary institution, you see most of them that take this because they have access to the funds. My father is not rich. I cannot go and buy a drug of 250,000 and say I want to take it. I cannot go to a club and say I want to buy a drink of 100,000 on a seat. It is impossible, because I don't want to take my father to gather such a money for 1 year or for 2 years. So it is the children of the rich. Let us be. You see, in this country, we like to pamper things. Let us say it the way it is. The children of the rich has actually influenced the children of the poor, and that is why you see at the end of the day their friends will end up going to steal and going into criminal act and going to being fraudsters to be able to get that money and spend the way their counterpart is spending it. So, and this has really endangered our society, because Mr. A is doing it, Mr. B want to do same. At the end of the day, you now see that we'll be getting it wrongly. But like a question, you see, for those that have gotten addicted, the level of accident we've had so far in this country, it is the youths who you got to discover that if you test them very properly, you got to discover that they were driving under the influence of alcohol or a particular hard drug they take. Most of these nota young drivers, you see them that before they can move on the road, they will have to take all these hard drugs, and it makes them to misbehave. They now see smaller vehicles on the road as nothing. They see it as ant that they can march and go. So no, I still go back to sensitization. Our NDLA and our government officials should now focus more on the driver union to really engage them properly. Then outside that again, in the local community, there are some specific areas that are known to be prone areas to some of these activities of hard drugs. Some of these government officials still patronize these people. So government should see what can be done to kind of, at least if you cannot flush it out in totality, at least flush out 75%.
All right. All right, let's leave drug abuse. Our time is fast spent and pick other stories. We move straight to politics. Vanguard newspaper says UK waiting for Tinubu to name his ministers. That's coming from the UK envoy. And I saw somewhere else, I think it's on the Nigerian Tribune, says increasing suspense over Tinubu's ministerial nominations. Guardian says the same thing. UK awaits Tinubu's cabinet ready for stronger ties with Nigeria. What's with all of this tension with regards to
what is the
Let's quickly take this. Let's quickly take this call before you go ahead. Hello, good morning.
Beautiful morning to you, Annabel and Mr. Francis.
Good morning to you too.
Good morning to you, SBL.
Yeah, you are on to SNB from Lagos. And the Mario, beautiful morning to you.
Thank you so much.
Mario, I'm sorry you are not seeing me, but I stand up for you as a standing ovation.
Thank you so much. I'm honored, sir.
And I respect what you are doing, and I always appreciate the ample opportunity given to us by KAFTAN TV.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me quickly respond to the issue of these drug issues. You know, there are two issues related to that. There is drug abuse. There is drug misuse. We must have to differentiate, because sometimes, according to the expert, these drugs misuse can easily lead to drug abuse, because if you are using drugs not in accordance with the expert prescription, definitely you are endangering yourself to the extent that will lead you that if I cannot take these drugs, I cannot feel okay. So sometimes it leads to drug abuse. That is why I recommend guidance and counseling for each and every home, no matter how poor you are. Even if you are living in a room of face me and face you in a compound, there should be a guidance and counseling unit in that your home, so that you should be looking after your children, what are doing, what they are into, who are their friends. Because when you see your son start isolating himself within the family members, you know definitely something is wrong with that yourself. A teacher, if you see a student in a class always trying to isolate himself within the classroom, you know that something definitely is wrong with that young man. So that guidance and counseling, even though I know we have it at the government angle, but there is need for our parents, including our community leaders in our street everywhere, to have that guidance and counseling. Because we can't just keep on going this way. If you go to our secondary school, primary schools, you will be very surprised what is going on there, and nothing is, not any action is been taken. Then lastly, the issue of these our policy makers, they should look this drug issue as a very, very important issue. Even if it's going to be life imprisonment or death sentence, that has to be done. And lastly, the contribution that will come from the media. Remember, Thomas Jefferson, the third American president, made mention the importance of the media. He even chose between governance and without media, and the media without governance. He prepare the place. So that is why they said fourth realm of estate of the realm. I believe with the power of media, believe me, we're going to clear the menace in our society. Because I always said that we need general societal reorientation to do away with almost 80% of our menace in this country. Thank you very much. I remain SMB from Lagos.
SMB from Lagos. Thank you so much for your contribution. Always a salient contribution. Please go ahead.
Yes. You see, what is the business of UK with Nigeria? These people will always come. They will always. we are Nigerians. We should be the one to be concerned.
But there's always the bilateral agreement and ties.
Yes. Then they should allow us to do what we want to do. It is we that will not invite them that we are ready for you.
But then they said
That's why they said
that they are waiting.
They are ready for
They are waiting so that all those their illegal business, what is happening in Bruno and Shiroro, so that it can continue.
What exactly is happening in Bruno and Shiroro?
What I'm referring to our minerals, which they are dealing with, and many lives have been lost on daily basis.
Do you have any?
Our security agencies talk about it.
Do you have any hard evidence to back up this?
My brother, some of us have given in our lives. We have given in our lives for Nigeria to be better. And most of them, even the security agencies, have known some of us who have stood by the truth and are ready to die by the truth. None of us is waiting for anybody to bring us to the backside. If we want to make money today, we can go illegal way to make millions of money and make noise like every other person without speaking the truth to power. The fact remains, because we keep quiet, what are all these international donors and NGOs, what are they doing in Bruno? What is their business there? Nigerian government has been pumping a lot of money there. Is it not enough? Is it not enough?
Is it too much?
No. The fact is this. Then who are those people that are collecting those items? Who are those people? Some of all these things are still being diverted back to some political leaders. And that is why we are getting it wrong. The fact is this. God has so much blessed this country with every mineral resources that we can survive on in the next 1 million years. But because we decided to sell ourselves as slaves, are we saying that we don't have the most best scientists from Nigeria as far as the whole world is concerned? Are you talking about doctor? Are you talking about geologist? What do you want that Nigeria does not have? But the fact is that our political leaders, because it is a means of pushing our money out of this country, that is why they continue on all this illegal partnership. Let the UK hold themselves, let Nigeria hold themselves this time around. President Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is enough for us. With what he has done in the past few days, we are satisfied. With him, Nigeria can be better than ever.
Well, you saying what President Tinubu has done in the past few days, that we are satisfied. I want to believe that is a personal opinion from your side.
Opinions of a lot of Nigerians.
Opinion from a lot of Nigerians.
To steal.
But then you would have to provide the numbers. You have to provide the statistics to back that opinion. Now, you talked about Nigeria leaving, UK leaving Nigeria, and Nigeria doing things on their own. This is year 2023. This is the 21st century, and I dare say that no country in the world can operate in solitude. No country in the world can function properly without healthy bilateral relationships.
I agree with you. I said with other countries. I said, let them allow us. You don't push us because you are waiting. That is instigating. That Bola Ahmed Tinubu quickly give us your list of ministerial appointees. Allow the man to settle down. He is scrutinizing those that he can work with. But if it will take him 3 months to do that, so be it. All we need is that all Nigeria needs is that in the next 4 years, we want to get a resultful leadership in this country.
Let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from very quickly.
I'm Collins from Otukwe.
Collins from Otukwe, it's great to hear from you. Go ahead, you have less than 60 seconds though.
You people are looking very cute this morning.
Thank you so much, Collins.
Happy weekend. I just like the analyst was saying, if we didn't get it right this time around, then I don't see how we can never get it right again. If you look to this government now, they are not coming up to how many, is it up to a month now? There are so many things that have come at stake already. Like if you look to the issue of this Emefiele that just came up, who knows that such a person has a dubious mind like this? Look at the amount of money they are talking about. Look at our debt, the debt we are owing. one person is having over, that is double of the money we are owing the IMF. And the leakage of many of those people involved are not yet out. Some of the prison politicians are still in power now. Some of them, they have in it. So our president is trying, and I have to commend him, and I pray that he should continue and make sure that by God's grace we make it right this time around.
Amen. Thank you so much.
You know, the UK, they are always just to come and read from us. That God will help us.
Amen. Thank you so much, Collins from Otibo.
Annabel and Francis, tell them that those people, they are criminals.
Okay.
The fact is this: they're taking us as slaves with what we have.
Mr. Adeniyi, we need to set the records straight.
Okay.
And I want to take you by your word.
Okay.
You said in the beginning you talked about criminal, misappropriation, and thief. That all of them are all of them are the same. And in the same vein, I still want to make it known to you and to our esteemed viewers out there that every opinion that has been expressed here are solely credited to the person from whom the opinions have been brought out.
Okay. I want to take it because you said so.
And
Nigerians know the truth.
And it will be appreciated if you can take back that part where you refer to the UK as criminals.
No. Okay. Yes. What I'm trying to say is this: the usage of that word is a kind of these people enslave us from another dimension.
But you still need to take it back.
Yeah, I will take it back. I'm taking it back already. But yet, Nigerians knows whom the foreigners are to us and what they have been to our parents, our fathers in the past, and what they are to us as at the moment.
All right.
But the UK are not criminals. But the truth is this:
I think
that we know whom they are to us.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for
our bilateral friends.
Thank you so much.
All right, so let's quickly take this call before we take our last topic. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Please turn down the volume of your TV set so we can hear you.
Yes, I'm calling from Akwa Ibom State, AK.
Eket from Akwa Ibom State, you have less than 60 seconds. Yes. Please go ahead.
Yes, my name is Victor.
Okay.
Yes, if I have to comment the gentleman about the issue of the drugs. Because the drugs it is actually affecting the youth in the rural community. And I wish this campaign should be taken down to the churches. The pastors should be involved in preaching the gospel of drugs. The village said the time crier should also be involved because it don't get around the community. It is the local people in the village who are actually feeling the impact, not those rich men. So I commend him for the idea, for the concept, for the enlightenment he has shown on the issue of drugs. So keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution and making it straight. Okay, so let's leave that and talk about our last topic. If you can help us in 2 minutes, our time is fast spent. And here we have talks about okay, I can't remember which of them. I think it was Francis that read the story saying that for Muslim brothers that there's no point.
That story is on
there's no point borrowing. That Muslim brothers, there's no point borrowing just to buy ram for the Salah holiday. We've heard that rams have even gotten as high as 400, 500. So now if you have to borrow, it means you're borrowing almost ₦1 million just to kill rams. So is it necessary? So we need you to touch on that. And then secondly, I saw a particular story that talked about, okay, in Daily Trust says butcher accused of blasphemy lynched in Sokoto State. We're still talking about lynching in Sokoto State again after Deborah Samuel's case, which a lot of people, a lot of human rights lawyers, activists are still on that case, and now we're back again to talk about it. What are your thoughts?
Firstly, borrowing to buy ram for Salah, a kind of putting yourself in debt just to satisfy human wants and to prove to people that you kill ram. At the end of the day, you end up looking for every means to repay this money back. and before you can get this money to pay back, another salary is already approaching. So in all this, you see, I have seen in some local communities where some persons, where about 4 or 5 persons will join money together to buy a ram. They will kill and they will share.
Yes.
I think that is the best way to go generally. That if you don't have that money to afford, Allah does not force it on you that it is a must. So it is something that, because He knows your heart, He knows your conscience, He knows that you don't have. So not killing, you can also join a neighbor. Because in every street, in every community, as far as this country is concerned, there is a Muslim.
Most definitely.
And definitely a particular person must kill. And in as much you get involved in share, there are not people who will kill and share to others. I've seen people like that. And during this period, I've seen a lot of politicians buy ram and share to constituencies because of the hard time. I've seen leaders does that. So I will advise that our people should kind of see need to kind of adjust themselves to the time and period we find ourselves now as a country.
All right.
Then on the issue of Sokoto, you see, my concern always border on sensitization. You see, some of these are Muslim brothers. To be candid with you, as of today, I have more of Muslim as friends. Very mature, very intelligent, and when they speak, you get in love with them. That wow. So different from the a kind of thought one has had about them in the past when we're coming up. But the fact is this, that there are some local ones that really need more of sensitization and information that this thing you are about to do is against the law. Some of them does not see killing human as a sin and as a criminal offense. To them, some of them believe that if you kill somebody who commit an offense, that you've gained a blessing in heaven. So all this, there is need for the imams, the pastors, and everybody to come together for an effective sensitization. And
there's also need for people to respect each other's religion.
Yes, that is the area I'm going now. You see, I really want to commend President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for the security chiefs he just appointed. Now. To be candid, especially the IGP, you see, is a man that is ready to take security to the local community.
All right.
And on that note, I want to say that in all that our security agencies and chiefs will be doing, they should consider men of God. They should consider chiefs, local community chiefs.
All right.
They should consider kings alongside in all they are going to do, because these are the people that host the local communities.
All right, thank you so much.
Easier to achieve more results.
Thank you so much, Adeniyi. There's never enough time to have these discussions. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for your time.